Ladies and gentlemen, this is what 3,000 pages looks like. It was filed about 5 minutes. The final version was filed about 5 minutes before the House began voting on it. You know, over the course of several months, you start off and we have conversations with Leader Sims, and you know, we start off saying, well, what can we all agree on? Well, I think we all agreed that Governor Pritzker was extremely short-sighted when he failed to fund K-12 fully on the front end. So I'm glad to see that that's been included in this. I would tell you that as we rolled forward, conversations, we asked time and again for a full rack-up. We never got a full rack-up. We asked to have meetings where we could walk down each agency's budget. We were called to a few meetings. I would say the only one that actually had a walk down was ISB, where they actually helped us figure out a way to pay for the fully funding of K-12 out of the extra surplus out of 21 to be paid in 22. I don't know if you did that or not in this or not. I'm not asking. I'm just glad you made the payment. But to be brutally honest with you, we never got the rack up. We could never begin to have an honest conversation because we never knew where the baseline spending priority was. In fact, the last walk down we had, or so-called walk down we had, was a meeting that's supposed to start at 10 a.m. It started at 9 a.m. and no one even invited us. That said, I will tell you there's a couple other things that I think are good in this budget. After you called a hearing 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, I don't remember what it was, and our side of the aisle pointed out how incredibly short-sighted it was for the governor to walk back on school children with the scholarship credit, to walk back on the men and women of Illinois and the Blue Collar Jobs Act that he signed, to walk away from that promise, to walk away from local communities and local government distributed fund, to walk away from the promise that was made in the Capitol bill related to local government distributed fund. I'll give your side credit. You said no to the governor. That's good. If you'd stopped there, you'd probably have a lot of support from this side of the aisle. Unfortunately, you didn't stop there. That's where the real spending began. There's over $1 billion in Democratic pork projects in this budget. $1 billion. Leader Harris in the House acknowledged it earlier today. $1 billion. Said, any Republicans in that? Well, no. Our side represents 4 million people in this state. 3,000-page bill, and there's 4 million people that aren't included in that $1 billion. But it's okay. You got your new districts. You took care of your new districts, and now you got your $1 billion for your new districts. If you'd stopped at what made sense, we wouldn't be up here right now having this argument. But you didn't. You went further. $666 million in new taxes. Now, aside for a minute, we got the number of the devil in there, right? But $666 million in new taxes. And I want to take a moment, because people say, oh, my goodness, these are loopholes. Well, let's talk about one of those so-called loopholes. Let's talk about accelerated depreciation. You know what accelerated depreciation does? And we brought this up in our committee hearing, your committee hearing you called. Accelerated depreciation funds the ability for people to buy equipment manufactured here in this state, equipment manufactured at John Deere and Moline in my seatmates district, equipment manufactured at Caterpillar in Peoria and Decatur, the Senator Turner and I represent, equipment manufactured all over the state. But once it's purchased, do you know what that equipment does? It puts Illinoisans to work. Because when Libman Brew Company, our Cole, Illinois, that I represent, buys new equipment, someone's got to be employed to work that new equipment. So what does accelerated depreciation do? Loophole? That you call a loophole? It puts Illinoisans to work from Chicago to Cairo. That's what it does. So you've got $666 million in job-killing tax increases here, just at a time when our economy is starting to come out of COVID. Franchise tax. There's another agreement the governor made that he's walked away from. Unfortunately, you all have tried to do that, or you're going to walk with them. And for what? For what? For pay raises for legislators? For increased spending in every single Democratic constitutional officer's budget? Yeah, you got your $1 billion for your new maps. All you had to do was stop at what made sense. Folks, this budget is an unparalleled spending spree of epic proportions. When is enough enough? When is enough enough? We got another crisis on the horizon. You talk about jobs, the unemployment trust fund. Okay, what is that? Nobody knows what that is. All the TV cameras up here on the unemployment trust fund, no one knows. You know what it is? It's the thing that kept everybody going during COVID. It's the thing that put food on kids' tables. Because when you lost your job and got laid off, you went to the ILCS office if you could actually get anyone to talk to you. I'm sorry, the office is closed. You had to call. You called 25 times. Maybe they called back, maybe they didn't call back. There is at least a $5 billion deficit at ILCS trust fund. That's what pays for unemployment, okay? This budget, you know what it does? $100 million. $100 million. At least $5 billion deficit, and that's only going to get worse. And this budget allocates $100 million. Do you know who makes up that difference? I know. Your side of the aisle say, the employer, the businessman will eat that difference. Wrong. You know who picks that up? The employee doesn't get rehired. That's who picks it up. The employee that gets laid off, that's who eats that sandwich. The small restaurant owner that has to close their doors, that's who picks that up. And for what? $1 billion in Democratic pork? Pay raises for legislators? You said this reflects your priorities. It doesn't reflect ours. I would ask everyone to vote no. Thank you.